Alright, hey, welcome back to Car Talks, where I ramble, rave, and word vomit my thoughts on training, life, and fitness, and thinking a little bit about today about training frequency. What does it take to recover? What does it take to really kind of push the limits in what you're trying to do? And I want to this is really on my mind because I have a kid right now who his mom signed him up to train in the way that we kind of have your program. It's kind of like your group classes, so people can come to as many classes as they want. We just have a membership and they show up and we train. And this kid showed up, he started a week and a half ago, and he has shown up every single day. And I talked to him about it because mom makes him train, and what's happening is as I'm watching this kid over the past week and a half to 2 weeks, is that you're starting to see in his face, you're starting to see the exhaustion. You're starting to see the burnout already, right? And one of those things we have to consider when we're talking about recovery, we're talking about training frequency, right? You have to have time to recover. And there are certain kind of parameters you got to follow. Max effort strength training, depending on which lift it is, if you're really lifting like max effort strength training, you're going to look at 48 to 72 hours of recovery time for major muscle groups, right? And obviously there's going to be some nuance there. Bench press, smaller muscle groups, less taxing on the nervous system as a whole. You're probably looking at like a 36 to 48 hour window before you can really bench press well again. Obviously, as you increase in weight and the stronger you get, the more time it takes to recover from pushing those max weights. Your squats, your deadlifts, you're looking close to that 72 hour window, looking at, really how much you tax everything else around a movement, right? Sprinting, right? You max effort sprint, well, to recover that, like those large muscle fibers, those type 2 muscle fibers in fast twitch movements, you're going to need longer time frames. You're going to need 48 to 72 hours to recover from that, right? That's 2 to 3 days. And I think a lot of times people get caught up because they try to go to the gym every day because they think that's what they're supposed to do. But really, when you look at it, if your program is well laid out, you could train 3 times a week max effort and get away with a lot, right? Like if somebody told you, hey, you only have to spend 3 hours in the gym a week versus spending 7 hours, you're gonna pick the 3, right? And part of it is understanding max effort and putting in full effort in the hours you get, but then also making sure you recover so you can go max effort again, right? There's a little bit of a dichotomy there, but it's just something to think about, because if we're really looking at frequency, as long as you're going really, as long as you put max effort or maximal intent into the sessions you do, you probably don't need to train as much as you might think. So just something for you to think about today. And until next time, we'll see you in the passenger seat.